Hello, everybody, and welcome to the High Banks at Daytona International Speedway, and welcome to the regular season finale for the 2021 Elite JoinAPS Cup Series, the SMRI Productions 200. 200 miles of plate racing. That's 80 laps around this 2.5-mile racetrack, and a lot has changed since we visited Daytona last for the Daytona 500. And David, just as we're getting qualifying underway right now and watching the 28 car of Joshua Clark, talk to us about some of those quick changes or some of those changes that have been made to the package and how this car is going to race differently.
Yeah, when we were here in February for the not February, it was February for the Daytona 500. We ran all 200 laps and we ran them with 84 lead changes. The car was very raceable. Everyone could make moves, and we saw that all throughout the day. They have since adjusted and updated the plate package with something that I have lamented iRacing for doing. They've been kind of trying to add for more realism, and so by doing that, they've added side drafting, and in so doing, have reduced the amount of pull that you can get behind another car. It's very difficult to pull up to the back bumper of someone in front of you, and we've seen a number of times and felt a number of times that it's just much more difficult to run side by side due to that side draft force. It's much more difficult to have those constant side by side battles. I think we're going to see these guys single out and kind of train around, and that's going to kind of be at the cost of what was a really good race that we were hoping to duplicate again tonight. You know, we can't control what iRacing does, though, so we hope these guys can put on as good a show as possible.
For sure, and like you said, that fantastic Daytona 500 that we had, you were just watching earlier, the Daytona 500 winner, Matthew Weeks, who's already obviously locked himself into the chase with that Daytona 500 win. And obviously, as this is the regular season finale, that, of course, means that we're going to have to take a look at our chase points standings and our chase points picture, and it's very simple here tonight. It is really a race between Josh Clark and David Tooker. Chad Frankenfield, Jared Rexing, both can be out. However, I believe effectively just making the start of this race and running the first couple of laps should lock both of them in unless they are the first cars out here. Really, they just need to survive probably past the halfway point, and they will both be locked in. The battle is with Joshua Clark and David Tooker. And then, of course, if somebody outside of this group here wins the race and wins their way in while also finishing top 25 in points, well, that could knock both Clark and Tooker out of the chase.
Yep, and one more battle is there in the locked cars. Johnny Thomas is 6 points ahead of Josh Adams and 25 ahead of Ryan Gavel, and 30 ahead of Gerald Campbell, 31 ahead of Ethan Burrell, 36 ahead of Tyler Fody. There is a six-man fight for that regular season championship. So our eyes are going to be on Johnny Thomas, Josh Adams, Ryan Gavel for much of the night, and then, of course, Josh Clark, David Tooker. If anybody else can maybe step up and win this race from the mid-pack, that would change everything, however.
All right, well, we'll have the cars gridding here in just a minute, and we'll take a quick look at that starting grid. Josh Robin grabs the pole position, your winner from the SMRI night race, the Bristol 500 lap night race. Grabs that pole position over Colin Bowden. Our Daytona 500 pole sitter, Josh Adams, can do no higher than third, but look out for that 95 car, always quick on these super speedways. Look out for that 09 of Johnny Thomas as well. Very, very strong on these tracks, and heck, look at that top five. Jeff Green rounding that group out. All of these guys, very strong super speedway racers, and continuing out the top eight, there you see Gerald Campbell, Ethan Burrell, and Tyler Fody. All of these guys a threat to win here today.
Yeah, all our points guys qualified really well. Big shout out to Scott Haney qualifying up in 10th. He's always fast on these super speedways as well. Looking for a little luck tonight.
For sure. Jordan Owens, a winner in the, I believe it was one of our duels, Daytona duels. Certainly looking to try and punch his ticket into the chase here. He sits 19th in points currently as we sit. So very much a possibility for that number 16 car. Jordan has shown great pace and great intelligence at these super speedway tracks where it really just you need to keep your head on your shoulders all throughout the event.
Keep going back through here. We've got Kendall Noah Player, our Daytona 500 winner from the last season, 2020B. He's certainly one to watch out for on these plate tracks. Almost won at Talladega last year as well. And then we roll through Vincent Isabella, one of those drivers in a must-win situation. Ryan Gavel and Hank Steinmiller and Marcus Frucknicht all likely hanging back at the start of this one. That's what Hank told me before the race anyway. And then a number of other cars. Tyler Dixon's another one that won a dual race. He might have an opportunity to sneak his way into the chase if he can pick up a win.
Yeah, look at all these guys. Chad Thornquist there just rounding out the grid. Look for all of them to...
Chad Thornquist did jump on and ask us how many people do we think flip tonight, excluding him. So he's already given it to himself. And Chad, I'm going to go with 0. We're going to have a great race tonight.
Absolutely, I'm with you on that one, David. Let's keep these cars out of the fence. Typically, we have a pretty good history at plate tracks, funnily enough, in the Elite Racing League. So wanna keep that up here, and hopefully we can. We'll load up to our pole sitter here, Josh Robin. He's going to pace this field around for just the single lap. Again, you've got the new 97 currently being shown of Colin Bowden. That is what his livery says. However, he will be shown on the ticker as 24. That's just a situation, unfortunately, where we have the custom numbers on iRacing, and they don't always align with the league numbers. But you'll see that 97 car on track. That is the Colin Bowden Ford Mustang. He'll be starting from the outside of the front row.
Yeah, I'm looking for Johnny Thomas to make some moves here. You know, he's wanting to try to win that regular season championship from the lead. He and Josh Adams qualified next to each other. I think those guys are going to be close together all night long. If Johnny can finish any less than 6 spots behind Josh Adams, he will claim that regular season title. So, well, this will be interesting to find out.
One more race before we go. Chase Racing, and Josh Robin's going to lead this field to the green flag. They're on the throttle, and here we go. 80 laps at Daytona International Speedway is underway to decide this chase grid, to decide the regular season champion. Josh Robin going to lead into turn number 1, but what can Colin Bowden do on that top side? Not too much, and I believe we have our first caution already, a massive incident further back in the field.
Oh, what happened there? You know, we didn't really see any problems. Oh, someone got turned into the wall. Might have been like a disconnection.
Very likely could have been.
From perhaps the 56 car of Michael Daniel Martinez. From 12th place. He had a really good qualifying run for Tate Lytle, and that car just turned dead right in the tri-oval. Not entirely sure what happened to him.
Yeah, we'll take a look at this replay here. Just as the pace car peels off, watch that 56 car there, that orange number 56 Days Gone By Toyota Camry. Just suddenly turns right. Looks like a potentially disconnection. There you go. A lot of cars caught up in that. A lot of cars, though, able to miss that incident there. So still brings out our first caution flag of the night.
Vincent Isabella bounced off of him. I saw Dustin Dewar bounce off of him. Those guys are going to have to come down pit road and check for damage. Watching it back again on our broadcast there. It looks like Jared Rexing's going to have damage. He's one of the ones that does not need a bad day. It does Jared Rexing. He needs this race to come to him and keep it up so that he doesn't finish last. But yeah, not sure what happened to Michael Daniel Martinez there.
Yeah, let's go back to that replay again, see if we can catch whoever hit that 56 car and see who's going to have to deal with some damage. We'll keep an eye on pit road as well, see who all is going to be bringing those cars down to pit road. But right now it looks like the field still pacing to catch up to that pace car. Obviously, it came out behind everybody else as they had just passed the pit exit. So let's take a look, see if we can get a slightly different angle on this incident and see if we can figure out who all got involved in this crash. So you can see just there, the 56 car, just not a hit from behind. You guys saw the other angle, but looks like, yeah, that was tough to see who that car was, but really only one major hit. Was that, in fact, Vincent Isabella in the 42 car?
It was Rexing that hit him, and then Isabella hit him after, and I think Dewar piled into Rexing. Those are the cars that are going to be involved in this one. Doesn't look like too much damage on the 42 car, though.
Yeah, 42 car seems to be all right. We head to the 10 car of Jared Rexing. You can see that little bit of damage on the front right here just after the caution came out. And he is, in fact, on pit road. These are live pictures, as well as Dustin Dewar, so a good catch there. Looks like Michael Goodman deciding to come down. A lot of drivers actually deciding to bring their cars down pit road. We see David Tooker, Harrison Talon, Michael Goodman, Chuck Sweeting is there. Alec Balvans, Marcus Frucknicht. A lot of big names here, bringing those cars down pit road.
I think that might be some teamwork to effect. And some guys are trying to kind of group up with their teammates. Pro Edge looks like they may be trying to hang in the back for a little bit. So Matthew Weeks, Ethan Burrell, Josh Clark have all kind of migrated to pit road and then headed to the back here. I think Lake Norman is also employing this strategy, though I think they're doing it without Ryan Lutz and Damian Leininger. I think those guys are going to be going for the lead.
Well, we'll certainly keep an eye out on those guys. But as we're pacing here under this first caution, we're going to give it over to our premier sponsors here at the Elite Racing Network. We'll be back with you guys in just a minute or two.
My name is John Cunningham with C2 Freight Resources. We are a Hub Zone certified logistics company here in Houston, Alabama. We've been in business for over 20 years, working with the Department of Defense and the federal government, among many other customers. C2 is committed to truckload shipments along with less than truckload shipments across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Our high level of service is what keeps our customers coming back year after year. Our industry-leading transportation management software, along with our tracking software, allow our customers to know where their shipments are at any time, any day. In closing, C2 Freight looks forward to earning your trust and business through actions day in and day out. We know if given the opportunity, you'll be pleased with our service and communication.
Richmar Florist makes every day a special day, from weddings and large events to that little something for any occasion. Richmar Florist has the perfect floral expression, and they're open online 24/7 at richmarflorist.com. Everywhere, every day. Richmar's 2 retail locations offer a fantastic selection of floral creations, gifts, and home decor. Book your free consultation in our showroom for your special event needs, and visit us online at richmarflorist.com today.
Back to live pictures here at Daytona International Speedway. The lights are out on the pace car, and we're getting ready to head to green flag racing once again here. We weren't able to get to turn 1 last time around, or barely got to turn 1, but this time we'll try again here. Hopefully connection issues don't plague these guys. Josh Robin once again will lead this field down to the green flag. Nice and easy there between these guys. Just settle into a rhythm here. Really start to understand what kind of side draft. You see there already the side draft from Colin Bowden heading into turn 1. We haven't even gotten one turn done in this race yet, and Colin Bowden trying to make that work here, but alone on the top side of the track right now.
Yeah, Colin Bowden's going to be going to the back, though. You know, you see how much he's trying to play that side draft, and it's just not going to work till he gets some help on the rear bumper. So side draft, not the only way to really help these drivers, but you can see we have a bunch of Lake Norman guys lined up on the bottom there. Tyler Fody, Damian Leininger, Scott Haney, the do-good intervention there between them and Ryan Lutz. Those guys all lined up, working together early on, and I know Tyler Fody and Jeff Green always tend to run together at these plate tracks.
Absolutely, but we've already saw a quick 3-wide moment there with Gerald Campbell going all the way to the top side, settles back into the second row, and really this inside lane, as it stands, we are single file, 7, 8, 9 cars deep here?
It is remarkable how quickly they singled out and almost how difficult it is to run side by side.
Yeah, you see there, a jump out for Ryan Lutz in that Smithfield Ford Mustang, trying to make the move on Scott Haney for the 7th position. Lutz, though, is going to need some help, and nobody's really coming, but there you go. See the Lake Norman Motorsports cars coming up in front of him. You've got Tyler Fody, Damian Leininger trying to pull that 36 along with them, trying to take that, turn that second lane into a working lane, and Colin Bowden's going to try and join them as well here.
Big shout-outs for Scott Haney and Mark Rebelas. You know, we don't always get to talk about those guys, and when we do, it might be because they're involved in something. But Scott Haney right there on the bottom, P6 right now, running great. Definitely good to see for Scott Haney. Love to see him running up in the top group, and he can definitely win these restrictor plate tracks.
Yes, he can. Move up to up to that second lane by Colin Fern there. Looked like he almost got close to the rear end, and you're seeing a lot of shuffling right now, aggressive shuffling from these guys. He talked about it before the race started here, where guys are going to have to be more aggressive with their moves, just the way the side draft is working. We're already seeing that here on lap 7 of 80. There's not really, there's very much an urgency in the way these guys are driving. It doesn't seem to be, hey, let's wait around, try and survive the big one if it comes. And and be there at the end. It's very much try and go out right now and lead every lap seems to be the mentality.
Yeah, for this group, there is a couple of groups out the back trying to employ that old Dale Jarrett strategy of hanging out. Want to touch on Kendall Noah player who's stepped up into the top 10. He's not about riding. He's about going to the front. He always tries to find his way to the front of these plate tracks as well. And he sent me a direct message today correcting me. Last week at Darlington, I was calling this the 1998 Jeff Burton paint scheme. It's actually the 1997 Jeff Burton paint scheme.
Good little shout there. Always great looking cars from that 94 Kendall Noah player, of course. K&P Graphics, his graphics company right there, the primary sponsor in that, and of course always putting out some great looking cars.
Colin Fern hits the wall with Bowden behind him. I think those guys maybe got a little too aggressive. They're trying to go around Ryan Lutz, and they just went straight into the fence trying to make that move to the outside.
Yeah, they really did here, and you can see here is Bowden falling back down the order because of it. Looks like it might have just been those two cars that really got involved in it. But yeah, I think you're right. Ryan Lutz might have been involved in that. We had a car almost sideways.
Spinning. One is spinning up near the front. Don't know who it is.
Who is
Gerald
that?
Campbell, I think. Gerald Campbell has gone sideways down the back straightaway and saved it. That is one of our guys who can potentially win the regular season championship.
Absolutely.
Gerald, though, locked into the chase. So we will see him next week with a playoff banner on that machine.
Yeah, locked into the chase, but man, oh man, this was a close incident here. So let's see what happened to Gerald Campbell. Looks like he just got loose off the corner. Maybe a little bit of a tap from Damian Leininger. A great save, though, keeping that car pointed in the right direction at over 180 miles an hour and just slots in behind this main pack. So Gerald Campbell back on track here and already back fighting with this kind of second pack here. As they're working to just stay out of trouble from the rest of them. You see Hank Steinmiller, Tyler Dixon, Dustin Dewar, Jordan Owens, all of these guys with chances to win this race here. I wouldn't count any of these guys out. This second pack certainly has some heavy hitters in it.
Yeah, they're waiting for a wreck, and with a short race like this, you can afford this because the aggression level is going to be up a much higher early in this race than in other races. And, at Rich, I know you and I employed that similar strategy with Hank Steinmiller at the truck race, a race which Hank Steinmiller won.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's a great strategy and it works a lot of the time. The biggest problem with that is if there is a situation where we don't see a wreck. And I've seen that happen at these plate tracks sometimes where you spend so much time hanging out in the back, hanging out in that second pack, but if there isn't that wreck that happens that you're able to avoid, I mean, suddenly you're dropping a lot of time to these leaders and there's no possible way to catch up. So it's a gamble. But then again, every move you make at a super speedway like this is a gamble. So, different games being played. I think a lot of guys, you talk to them, they'll say, well, the best way to avoid the wreck is to be ahead of the wreck. And that might be a mentality that's being seen here. But Josh Robin right now, not really being touched by anybody behind. And that, I don't know if that's a decision by Josh Adams to just hang out. It kind of looks like it is, as well as the guys behind. But for Josh Robin right now, he's had clean air on that nose of that number 8 car all race long.
This is the kind of thing I was somewhat worried about entering this race, is that the guys up front are they're not going to make moves. It's too risky, and especially for Josh Adams and Johnny Thomas, these guys are guys who want to win the regular season title. So Johnny's not going to step out of line and risk a bunch of track position and falling into the clutches of the pack. Josh Adams isn't going to do it because he needs Johnny Thomas to do that so that he can win the regular season title. So those guys are kind of creating a bunch up at the front of the field anyway. I know Jeff Green and Tyler Fody are very aggressive at these plate tracks, but Johnny Thomas, Josh Adams kind of forming that strong bond there that now no one can really make any moves.
Yeah, and even right now, it seems like Jeff Green, Tyler Fody, and it kind of looks like Kendall Noah player might go with them if they decide to go. There's no desire, it seems, to make that top line work, though Josh Adams kind of peaking, maybe just getting some fresh air on the grill there, trying to get some cool air there, but really no desire to move right now here, and we are, again, here, what are we looking at? Maybe 12 cars in a row there, all on that bottom lane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big shout out for Brody Moore and Alec Balvans. They're running right at the back end of this single file line, trying to break free of this pack, up and around with guys like Chad Frankenfield and Ryan Lutz. As you see, Brody almost lost it there, and he'll settle in with Chad right in front of him. Good run so far for Brody Moore. Chad Frankenfield trying to put things together, and It's just amazing to me that that one adjustment that iRacing made has created such a different complexion of a race when we know that this is a group that can run for 200 laps and then put down 84 lead changes. You know, this is a product of the package. It's not so much a product of you know, the way these guys race, because we know how they race. They can do this stuff very, very well.
Yes, they absolutely can, and yeah, that's unfortunately one of those things that's out of our controls as any league on iRacing. Is you're ultimately subject to whatever different package is being used or whatever updates are being made. Obviously, we've been through some questionable tire models and aero models and all of that in the past, so nothing new here for these guys. You have to be able to adapt in this series, and we've seen guys who'll struggle with different changes to aero and tire models and handling models, and some guys who welcome that change here. We're getting our first couple of bumps here as looked like Johnny Thomas is trying to hook up to the back end of Josh Adams, who in turn looks like he almost got to the rear end of the number 8 car of Josh Robbins. So maybe a little bit of bump drafting up here in front of this pack.
What I'm seeing from them right now is some trying to understand what they can do. It's something that you're not necessarily going to be able to get if you're riding, but Josh Adams, Johnny Thomas are up here in the front, and they want to make sure they know what they need to do when they need to pick up more speed. So Josh Adams backing up to Johnny Thomas, Johnny trying to put the bumper to Josh, just to see how much of a run they can get on this number 8 car up front. It is nice to see a number 8 up front.
For sure it is. All those Dale Jr. fans are enjoying this, I'm sure. I'm curious now, when it does come down to it, if you are, say, Jeff Green and Tyler Fode sitting there in 4th and 5th positions, this package seems to me, and from the limited running I've done with this package, is if you get a solid 2-car run together, you can really tandem draft your way up to the lead. Is that going to be true? Is that something that you think we might see here today?
Yeah, I think we will, but it's too early to try that, and even for the aggressive guys like Jeff Green and Tyler Fode, it's way too early. They're just going to hang on and enjoy their little kind of Sunday drive here. As we'll wait for pit stops, and then once the race kind of picks up, we'll see guys starting to get more aggressive, especially out of the top 5. Big moves early on for some of these guys. Vincent Isabella, Marcus Frucknick moving forward. Some of these guys like Chad Frankenfield just cannot get that outside line going.
Yeah, and it's not for a lack of help, really. He's got David Tooker with him. He's got Ethan Burrell. You've got a lot of the Pro Edge and fueled up cars right behind them. So those guys trying to make that top lane work, but just no fuel in that top lane. And even you see a couple of those guys backing out already. Josh Clark heads back to the bottom lane as Jared Rexing comes up to side draft Ethan Burrell, who's trying to make the move on the outside. So yeah, this outside lane just really does not seem to be coming in here. And you see another group trying it out, I believe led by Vincent Isabella in the number 42 car. But yeah, we'll see how his progress is. But those guys really are going to have to close together to be able to make a ton of headway. You're going to need to be right on the rear bumper and basically pushing the car in front of you by, and Vincent does back out of that lane.
Vincent picked up a spot, though. He bypassed Brody Moore right there, picking up 12th spot. And, the Mark Martin-themed car made by Michael Goodman looks pretty spicy early on. He's moved forward from the mid-20s. I think he started in 26th, all the way up into 12th. So I'd watch for Vincent Isabella. He's in a must-win situation. He's good at these plate tracks. Seen him win a number of races, and he's playing it aggressive early on. He's one of the only ones doing so, and he's one of the only ones doing so with success.
Yeah, you see there Brody Moore going up to possibly help Vincent there, though, leaves him now out to dry. Let's see how Vincent's able to work on Chuck Sweeting here on the outside. You can see him really using that side draft, using that side force to effect, but he might get swallowed up here as there's really no help behind that 42 car. But now possibly some joining there with Colin Bowden and Chad Frankenfield coming to his aid on the top lane.
Oh, he got into... Oh, man. And that's the product of side drafting, is Vincent has to stay as close as possible to Brody Moore. And in doing so, you saw the car hook to the left before Brody was ever touched by Vincent Isabella. That alone had to have been netcode, because Brody's car started hooking left before Vincent even got close to him.
Let's take a look here. Looks like Vincent might have gotten down, or that's a tough one. Let's take another look at that. That's a very close incident there, and it's coming right into turn 3 here. Just want to tell people that the green flag is still out on the racetrack. They did not slow down enough to bring out that yellow flag here. So
I don't know.
I think it's a combination of Brody coming up a little bit, Vincent coming down a little bit. It might just be a racing deal there, but I don't know if that was netcode. I think that was legitimate contact from what I was seeing.
The issue with it, and we'd have to see it from the front bumper of the 42 car, the problem is that the package itself is lending to that issue of having to side draft, right? Vincent Isabella is going to drop back 10, 15 spots if he doesn't side draft Brody Moore and hold him back in place. And if you misjudge that by even a slight little centimeter, it'll send both cars into the wall like you saw right there.
Yep, we'll take a look. Here's the nose cam on this 42 car. There you see inside, you've got the 75 of Chuck Sweeting. Yeah, definitely contact there between the two. And again, from that camera angle, it looks possibly like Brody drove up. I think from other camera angles, there was possibly some of Vincent coming down. I think a combination of both of them. Just like you said, it's a function, or it's a result of this package. Forcing these drivers to be close together, and you're obviously always going to see drivers tracking up, entering a corner, see guys potentially coming down during a corner, results in crashes like that. We're lucky to stay green, though, here, and everybody's still rolling all right, but obviously for both Brody Moore and Vincent Isabella, not what they wanted to see, and for Vincent Isabella, who's in a must-win situation, that makes his night a little bit harder.
I think that makes it a lot harder. That means Vincent Isabella likely no way he ends up winning this race now, and just a frustrating way to end the season for a guy who ran very well throughout the good portion of it, and had multiple opportunities at good top 10 finishes, and last week was running inside the top 10 before getting running into the back bumper of I believe the 14 of Chad Thornquist, and it ended up putting a hole in the nose and retiring that car for the night.
Yeah, so here we're seeing this top 15 group. It's very interesting how they've spread out completely from this second group here, led by your Daytona 500 champion Matthew Weeks. This second group really primarily, there's a lot of Pro Edge Toyotas in there, a couple of Lake Norman cars, I think one Racing Point Limu car, and then even we have Chad Thornquist and Harrison Talon with Fueled Up Racing. So definitely a mix back here. But yeah, I mean, a big gap between Matthew Weeks and Colin Bowden. So there's kind of been a second pack kind of forming here, as that lead pack really separating themselves away. 3.5 seconds between the first and second packs.
And the first pack isn't racing right now. They're all single file too. So this pack's not going to be able to make any inroads on the Colin Bowden, Chad Frankenfield group up there. They're just going to have to sit down. And this is kind of the worry if you were going to plan out that sit in the back strategy that we mentioned. You're going to now need a caution to come out. You need some people to really screw up green flag pit stops or something like that, because this race has such a green flag complexion that I would not be surprised if we went caution free at this point.
Yeah, well, obviously, barring that first one we unfortunately had due to netcode. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously been very clean racing. I suspect we'll see this action start to pick up a little bit more as we get closer towards the end. But talk about where we're at right now. Obviously, we saw some cars come down on that first lap, but for the most part, everybody's 25 laps into this run. Where are we looking at for fuel? I'd assume someone like Josh Robin over here, he's going to be pitting before just about anybody else. Same thing with someone like Matthew Weeks, who's maybe leading his pack, or Michael Goodman leading the third pack.
It might be an issue for Josh Robin, honestly, that he's out in front here. He will be burning more fuel. The guys like Josh Adams, Johnny Thomas, Jeff Green, they can run 3/4 throttle and be caught up right in the same spot they already were. So they don't have to be burning as much fuel as Josh Robin will. So Robin's going to have to pit earlier, and maybe leading this race is not where you want to be. We'll have to see how quickly he comes down pit road. By my memory, pit stops would be lap 35 to 40 or so. I think these guys are probably going to want to try to make it all the way to 40 so that they can make it on that one stop.
Yeah, if they can make it to lap 40, that's obviously a huge advantage. Yeah, for Josh Robin, certainly must be a concern of his right now is that fuel number, but I think he's also pretty happy just out front leading right now. But we are getting to that point where that starts to become a discussion, where you start thinking about, all right, what strategy am I going to employ? Because, like you said, it does appear currently that we're going to be looking at a green flag race, at least up until we see guys making more aggressive moves in this field. You see there Colin Bowden just backing way out on the top lane, not really able to kind of toe up to anything. There is Colin Fern up on the top. Maybe he'll get some advantage, but there you go. An aggressive move gets past Chad Frankenfield. But once again, this field basically still single file, not too many moves being made in the top 15.
You know, it's interesting. We saw Colin Fern and Colin Bowden bounce off the wall there, and it seems like Bowden's car is still speedy and running well, and Colin Fern went a lap down just now. I mean, that is a brutal turn of events for the 86 car. Just, you know, bouncing it off the wall early on, not able to start the chase very well. Looks like they've got some rear end damage, and he's going to require, I think, a hefty pit stop to get that.
Yeah, it looks like he will. Colin Bowden, though, making moves right now to the outside of Chuck Sweeting. Just got past 3 cars, though, lost that run, and now it looks like he's going to get swallowed back up here. So you can see the driver can make a pretty wild run through the corner, but I mean, you need to have help, or you need to have somebody willing to give you that gap on the bottom lane to slot back in here. Because right now, despite that huge slingshot that Colin Bowden got, he's now going to fall back to 15th place.
And you see Colin Fern. We know Colin Fern's car is probably fine once he's in this draft, but you know, when he lost the draft after bouncing it off the wall, he was really unable to go quick enough to even prevent going a lap down in 15, 20 laps or so. I think Colin Fern, if he can get tucked up underneath Colin Bowden, we can see what that 2-car tandem can do. But Fern's car may not be quick enough at this point to actually push that 97. He may just be quick enough to stay in the draft.
Yeah, here you've got 2 drivers with really nothing left to lose. Colin Fern, obviously already locked into the chase. Colin Bowden, not eligible for the chase, not eligible for regular season points. So both of these guys really just out here to win this single event. So they're certainly going to be expected to take maybe some more aggressive moves as Damian Leininger gets below the yellow line there. Maybe a little bit of a shove from Chuck Sweeting that might have gone a little bit wrong, but everyone's still back in line here and looking pretty all right as a whole in this lead pack.
Damian Leininger tried to go around Rusty Cable right there, was tired of following the number 9 car, and decided he wanted to make a move. Realized that wasn't going to work and sliced down in front of Chuck Sweeting and went below the line there. As they're going to now bypass the wounded number 42 of Vincent Isabella. He will not be able to stick on the back of this pack, and then the battle for the lucky dog will be when that 42 car is passed by the Colin Fern at number 86.
Yes, sir. Unfortunate there for Vincent Isabella. Not much he can do other than just roll around right now. No front end on that car. Obviously, tons of downforce, tons of speed taken off of it. Nowhere near as streamlined as it should be at one of these super speedway racetracks. But this front pack, I mean, I want to keep talking about this because this second pack has been closing the gap. They've kind of gotten themselves sorted out. And really, if you look on back, that gap was 3.5 seconds, now down to 0.7 of a second, with Matthew Weeks leading the way and Josh Clark behind them. So they're right there, and they are coming with a lot of steam here. I wonder if they're going to try and make this go too wide, and could we have a battle as they try to attack this lead group of 15 cars?
You know, I think it was these guys actually got a tow from being able to run behind the Colin Fern machine. And then when they got that tow, it kind of boosted the pack up a little bit. You know, if Weeks is going to, get in behind Colin Bowden here. Bowden timed that up just right. Then we'll see maybe a little side-by-side action here finally as Colin Bowden, Matthew Weeks, Josh Clark trying to take that second group to the front of the field. Clark now ahead of Tooker. Those guys are battling it out for that last spot in the playoffs.
Oh, and we've got a car blinking on the bottom. That's Marco Bilas, but Damian Leininger tries to go up to block this lane, and he's going to get left out to dry on the top line.
Yeah, that was a risky move by Damian. A guy who definitely needs to win this race without question. But by doing that, you see he's completely stalled out the momentum of that outside line.
Yeah, he really has, and still side by side with Matthew Weeks as he's trying to get himself back in line. Weeks now going to try and slide him to the bottom, but right now he doesn't want to be behind that blinking number 93 car. Mark Rabias is a very strong racer, as well as Scott Haney, but right now, I mean, internet issues, you just can't help yourself. Weeks does bail out to that bottom lane, though, and it's going to be Damian Leininger and Colin Bowden now leading this top lane, trying to make some moves here to get past or to the front here, and it looks like they've got the momentum behind them.
Damian Leininger's car is very quick, and he's won races at Daytona in must-win situations before. took home, I believe it was the 2018 B Daytona race in the Xfinity cars, and did so in dramatic fashion, winning, I believe, a last lap crash and pass. Damian now going to have to try to make that same move to win this race. But suddenly, Tyler Fode, Jeff Green, Johnny Thomas have been eaten up by Colin Bowden. This outside lane now has enough cars in it to make a move. We're finally seeing some racing at Daytona.
We've got some racing at Daytona, and also with green flag pit stops potentially approaching in the next 5 to 6 laps here. So this could get very, very interesting as guys might try to duck to the bottom lane to make moves here and get in line for that. But right now, there's really this desire for this top lane to get to that front, but they seem to have stalled out right about at the Tyler Fode spot. Tyler Fode, Jeff Green, Kendall Noah player. Can't seem to get too far past him. I think Colin Bowden's going to need a nice shove from Damian Leininger and some help from Josh Clark as well. But there you see behind Clark, Jared Rexing just can't really seem to suck up to the rear bumper of that 28, and these guys can't stay close to keep pushing ahead. And they're losing ground now, losing steam as Leininger bails out to the bottom lane.
Yep, smart by Damian to go ahead and take the opportunity when it presents itself. Matthew Weeks did the same, but it was maybe a little too early for the 11 car. And in fact, I don't even see him anywhere on the screen now. Matthew Weeks short pit.
Matthew Weeks down in 23rd there has just dropped a lot of positions here. Has not been down pit road. Interesting situation here from this 11 car, possibly lifting. Does he have teammates further back that he might be trying to meet up? Doesn't seem like it. So possibly a mistake for the 11 car that dropped him off the lead pack draft there. So you can see them far ahead, but there is the second group here, and again, a lot of pretty heavy hitters in this. Hank Steinmiller, Gerald Campbell, Ryan Lutz, Jordan Owens, Tyler Dixon. So a lot of very strong drivers in this second pack, so I'd look out for them.
And well, actually, no, we're good. Back to the lead here. Josh Robin holds it. He has led every lap so far, and now the question becomes, how much fuel does that 8 car have? How much longer can he stay out? And is it a disadvantage to have been leading this whole time?
Yeah, so amazingly, despite all of that effort and all of that speed that top lane had, Colin Bowden has now reverted back to 15. No change in position for that number 24 car. So not really the net result that he wanted to see as he kind of took over the lead of that top lane. They very quickly fizzled out. They're going to try for it again here. You can tell Bowden really wants to get these guys rolling, but just not enough commitment from other drivers to join him up at that top lane to try and get that position on everybody else. You see there Scott Haney running up top, trying to maybe slot himself at the back, maybe feeling it's just a little bit too crazy up inside the top right now.
Damian Leininger went up and got a run on Scott Haney and just jumped underneath him entering turn 3. Took that spot by force. Now moved the 12 car up to 7th. So every spot just seems like it's a battle to gain that one spot. You can't make any mistakes. Scott makes a slight mistake running too high on the back straightaway, and that mistake proves to be costly of 6 positions, and he's back in 13th.
Bowden slots back in on the bottom lane as now David Tooker leads this top lane. He, reminder, is currently sitting just outside the points with Josh Clark, his teammate, just 2 points back. Reminder, a 9-point gap separating the two as we entered this race. So David Tooker has to finish effectively 9 positions ahead of Josh Clark, barring any other bonus points. So right now, as it stands, it will be Josh Clark inside the chase if Josh Robin is your race winner. Realistically, the only man outside of the chase inside the top 10 that could win. I don't actually know if we have anybody in the top 10 that could bump anybody out of the chase right now.
Well, the question would be whether or not Damian Leininger or Kendall Noah player could move into the top 25 with a win. That would be risky, as I think they're both 26th and 27th in points right now.
Yeah.
So those guys have nothing to do but win. As here comes Josh Robin, Colin Bowden, and Josh Adams.
So there you
Everyone
go.
else stays out, and Johnny Thomas picks up a lap lead. That is 1 bonus point that Josh Adams does not have.
Yep, so those 3 cars come down pit road. They should be all right to work together, but as there you see Ryan Lutz coming off pit road and actually, I believe, going a lap down there. Yeah, so the question is now, how long does this pack stay out? Staying. I'm kind of surprised about Josh Adams having to come down with Josh Robin. just because you'd expect he was the second car in line. He never had to lead any laps. You'd expect him to just kind of be able to hang out in line there and save quite a bit of fuel, like Johnny Thomas, like Jeff Green, like Tyler Fode, everybody that's out here right now. But yeah, a little bit surprising to see that 95 car dive down pit road. Expect to see the rest of the field coming here within the next lap or so.
Yeah, it was. Maybe they were working together. Would be the thing I could think of, is that Robin and Adams are trying to kind of work together here, but you know, I don't know. Maybe Adams used a little too much fuel trying to push to the back bumper of the car in front of him, and in doing so, kind of cost himself an opportunity to lead this race. Thomas is taking advantage of that, and no one else is presenting a challenge. Though David Tooker kind of making up ground on the outside lane, trying to take advantage of the chaos that is green flag pit stops here at Daytona.
Yeah, it is pretty chaotic back here. You saw a little bit of a tap maybe even there between Rusty Capel and Jared Rexing as they're side by side. Everybody just trying to slot, I think, try and get to that bottom lane so that they can all come down pit road. Here comes Johnny Thomas. Here comes a ton of cars down to pit road. And you see there's Zishan Dura all the way to the inside trying to get onto pit road. Looks like everybody, though, makes it nice and safe.
That was an incredible effort by these guys, and the guy who led that lap was David Tooker. So plus 1 point for the guy on the outside looking in. Big move there for Tooker. Could be all it takes at the end of this race. I'm interested to see how things shake out after these green flag pit stops. Who's the leader and where are they running? You know, we could see things get a little bit more hectic once everyone knows they've got fuel to make it to the end of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. It could get, and we're just past that halfway point, so everybody should be in a fairly comfortable position, of course, except for Josh Robin and Josh Adams, who have maybe 2 laps or so to save. And here we go, ton of cars, and a little bit of jostling there for position as everybody tries to make it to pit road. Once again, a great effort by all these guys, and Chuck Sweeting will now come around to lead a lap. He's already won a race this season, but points can certainly help him if he's trying to gain any positions in those regular season points. So Sweeting staying out, only car left out on track from that first caution of the drivers who pitted on that first caution.
Does it surprise you at all that Chuck Sweeting is attempting some different pit strategy? I mean, the guy does it every single race, and he's very good at it. It works out for him about once a year, sometimes twice a year, and it's the way that a guy like Chuck Sweeting can pick up some extra playoff points, is to sneak in a win based on a fuel mileage race to Daytona, if it should come down to that.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you can always be impressed by the stuff that Chuck Sweeting does, and he stays out for another lap here, saving fuel behind the number 4 car of Nick Massey. So, yeah, I mean, just a great job right now by Chuck Sweeting, maintaining some solid pace here, obviously, as he's got that draft and able to save fuel as well. He did pit on that first lap caution, just got fuel only. I saw that on our time this morning. So once again, just a different thought process for Chuck Sweeting. Do something different to the rest of the field, and you know, we'll see how that works out here.
Nick Massey running his first race in the Cup Series this season. Mentioning him because he is one of our Xfinity playoff drivers, and has been having a very, very good season for them. I believe he's part of Ruthless Motorsports. Here's the battle for the lead. David Tooker. David Tooker will be the leader once things settle out, and what a job by Pro Edge Racing. Made up a lot of time when everyone was kind of slowing up to get to pit road. Tooker will be the leader. Ethan Burrell running second. Then it's going to be Marcus Fruchtnicht in third. Colin Bowden fourth. Josh Adams settles out to fifth, and Josh Robbins settles out to sixth. Josh Clark to seventh.
Oh,
We got a crash on the back. Chad Frankenfield. That could be big.
That is our caution flag. You see everybody checking up on the bottom. A car on the grass there. It looks like, was that Jordan Owens potentially?
It was Dustin Dewar.
Dustin Dewar
Chuck
there.
Sweeting, and Chuck Sweeting gets the caution. And yeah, so if Chad were to finish where he is right now, he would be at risk of falling out of the playoffs.
Interesting.
Possibly. It's lose 36 positions to exactly David Tooker. But David Tooker's running second right now, and Chad's going to be in the deep 30s. Looks like Zishan just a bump gone wrong there to Chad's rear bumper, and don't know how much damage that car has, but I see black smoke trailing out of it.
Yeah, that's a hard hit for the 15 car. Let's take a look. No smoke trailing out as he's driving down the racetrack, though. Of course, we don't know. We don't always see all the damage sometimes when it comes to of course, or excuse me, we don't see all the damage just due to the network issues on iRacing. So it could be worse for Chad Frankenfield than what we're seeing here on our screens. But yeah, like you said, that's a big win for Chuck Sweeting, though slowing on the back straightaway. He's giving up a lot of positions right now. Slightly confused as to why that is. The 75 car, has he run out of gas? Was he coming down pit road? I think Chuck Sweeting's run out of gas. He might have been planning to come down pit road as that caution flag came out.
Oh, Chuck. Chuck has rolled the dice a little bit too aggressively here. You know, we praise him when it works, but, you know, when it doesn't, it results in something like this. And he may be fortunate enough to be able to get to pit road, but if he doesn't make it all the way back, he may need to tow, which would be a much harsher penalty.
Yeah, it looks like there's still just enough pace on that 75 car where he's going to be able to roll to pit road. And a lot of guys making that call to come down pit road. You see there, David Tooker, your race leader, made that call. A lot of the Pro Edge racing cars, but you do see a lot of guys staying out, though. Colin Bowden, Jeff Green, Johnny Thomas, Kendall Noah Player, Mark Rabilas, all making that call to stay out on the racetrack. So mixed strategy here. Likely not for tires, likely just getting yourself that little bit of extra fuel in the tank in case we do have a green-white checker finish to this race.
Interesting call to me for David Tooker. But if Tooker were to get out front similar to how Josh Robin was and to lead every lap the rest of the way, I don't think he'd make it to pit road. Robin went to pit road, 6 laps earlier than everybody else?
Yeah, so it's pretty significant. So, yeah, definitely an interesting call there, and you know, we'll see how it plays out, obviously, as this race goes. We know, of course, David Tooker's been in must-win situations. You look back to last season at the World 600, and he's made it come out. So certainly do not count out that 19 car. And while he's not in a must-win situation, a win would certainly help him lock his way into the chase.
Yeah. So with that, Johnny Thomas on the apron. Not sure what he's doing down there. You know, Johnny Thomas has plenty of fuel. He's been on pit road recently.
Yeah, certainly a little bit surprising there with for Johnny Thomas. Though as we are rolling under caution here, let's give a big shout out to our race sponsor here today. Of course, this race, 80 laps at Daytona, the SMRI Productions 200. An SMRI, they're an independent record label and media company that exist at the intersection of creation, media, and technology. They focus on delivering comprehensive digital content with organic media for all of your digital needs. They also provide multiple avenues of content consumption, making sure that you're always in control. As a content provider, SMRI offers a unique, ever-growing catalog to fit your needs for any bespoke media desire. Big shout out to SMRI Productions. They've been an amazing partner of the Elite Racing Networks coming on in the past year or so. Obviously, Jordan Owens, the primary spokesperson there for them within the Elite Racing Leagues. He's done a great job at sponsoring different race cars, sponsoring events, sponsoring the entire Grand National Series that we run on Monday nights. So once again, big shout out to SMRI. Always love having them in the series. Your race leader for a large chunk of this race has SMRI right there on that car, number 8 of Josh Robin.
If we're going to see any side-by-side race action here, it's going to be on this restart. This is where these guys really need to start pushing, and I think, or rather, don't know that they need to start pushing, but where I think they will begin pushing, making more aggressive moves, and I'm very, very flummoxed by Johnny Thomas's desire to run the apron under this caution. That's definitely something I want to ask him about if he finishes top 3.
Yeah, that is a very interesting situation right there with the 09 as we're getting ready to go back to the green flag racing. So not quite sure what the move is there by Johnny Thomas, possibly shortening the racetrack by a couple of meters there to save some gas. But either way, the pace car is going to come off, and it's going to be Colin Bowden leading that inside lane, and he goes green nice and early, gets a good jump on Jeff Green on the outside lane. Looks like Johnny Thomas might slot into second place as well, and Jeff Green slots into third with Kendall No Player right behind him. That outside lane right now led by Ethan Burrell with Josh Adams right behind him. And David Tooker, Josh Robin all joining that top lane. Like you said here, we could see some nice 2-wide racing as this outside lane gets organized.
It's funny, I say that, you say that, and then half the field behind them is all single file here. So not necessarily. We've got only like 5 cars up in this top groove. I think they're going to fall back. It's going to be tough for Ethan Burrell to be able to make up any ground. If there's anyone who can do it, it's these 2 paired at the front of this top field, and especially maybe even these 3 or 4. You know, we've got Matthew Weeks in this top group now. Josh Clark has joined it, and David Tooker, of course. But Josh Adams and Ethan Burrell, 2 of the best at this plate track and at all plate tracks. They were 1-2 at Erska's Talladega race earlier this season. A couple of guys that know how to get it done, and I believe Ethan Burrell and Josh Adams were 2nd and 3rd in our Daytona 500 behind Matthew Weeks.
Absolutely, a lot of talent there when it comes to these plate tracks. Know how to work together, know how to just, again, nurse that car, be there at the end. That's such a huge part of these plate races. And then that final lap, certainly things can get a little bit wild in terms of who's actually able to bring their car to victory lane. But so much of the challenge is just being there, being around, as we are approaching lap 50 of 80 in just 2 laps time here. This race winding down pretty quickly. Obviously still 30 laps to go, still a lot to fight for, as Colin Bowden kind of defending that top spot from Johnny Thomas. But yeah, expect the action to kind of start heating up a little bit here as that outside lane maybe starts rolling a little bit better. You're seeing a lot more cars now that outside lane trying to move forward, as Colin Bowden trying to pick what lane he wants when that 37 rolls up.
The thing I'm keeping an eye on is the progress of one Chad Frankenfield. As long as that car is in the pack, which it seems to be, Chad is able to hang steady back here. And as long as he's able to finish not 36th or worse, he'll be able to make it through to the next round. But being the first car to get involved in a real accident after that first lap incident, definitely something dangerous for that Chad Frankenfield car. And you know, if he had been hit a lot harder or something, that could have been a disaster. But here comes Ethan Burrell trying to make the first green flag pass for the lead that we've seen. Colin Bowden puts one of our top points contenders in the wall.
Yeah, Colin Bowden with a very aggressive block, though Ethan Burrell not having any of it makes Colin Bowden go all the way back down to the bottom, and Johnny Thomas almost turns him on the bottom as well. So Bowden being very aggressive defensive moves there, but that's not going to stop the run that Ethan Burrell has quite yet. Right now, it is still advantage to that bottom lane, but it seems to be coming alive for the top.
Oh, man, one in the wall. Marcus Frucknick got the wall there. I think it might have been with contact from Vincent Isabella again.
That looks like it, but here we go. As out front, the action is still going crazy because Bowden tried blocking that top lane, goes back to the bottom, and now it's Burrell side by side with Colin Bowden for the lead. Look at this battle go. Here we go. You wanted 2 wide battling here. They got it for sure. Ethan Burrell and that top lane with Josh Adams right behind him trying to do whatever they can. And you see the bottom lane coming up for the side draft, and Johnny Thomas trying to get by Colin Bowden as well. Bowden doing whatever he can to defend, and that means that right now it's advantage Ethan Burrell to the point here at Daytona on lap 51 of 80.
3 wide behind him for about 10th spot. Josh Robin in the sandwich there between the Lake Norman Motorsports cars on the bottom and Harrison Talon up top. Looks like Harrison might be the loser on this. Oh, man, it's a risky spot to be. Daytona's barely wide enough for 3 wide. Talladega, the much wider of the plate tracks. See if Josh Robin tries to back out of it and get behind the 23 car. Nope, he's going to stay in it. They're just going to ride 3 wide. Very risky.
Stay 3 wide, 3 corners around here. So far around this racetrack, and still 3 wide down the back straightaway. Harrison Talon might come out the winner here.
Yep, sure did. Josh Robin moves up, and now there's another battle for the lead. Josh Adams trying to take it from Ethan Burrell up front. Just too much action going on now. Went from no action to lots of it.
Exactly. It's getting pretty wild here at Daytona. You can see them 2 by 2 as they turn across the camera here, stationary on the front straightaway, and it's Colin Bowden now versus Ethan Burrell for the lead. Bowden now on the outside lane, Burrell on the inside this time.
Now Bowden and Josh Adams together up front on the outside, Burrell and Johnny Thomas on the inside. And you know, now that we're seeing the capabilities of this package, if they could race like this the whole time, it'd be pretty good. But you know, it's just so difficult to keep this up. And you see cars like Nick Massey is employing the strategy. You know, when they went 3 wide earlier, I saw Hank Steinmiller drop to the bottom and head to the back, similar to Massey's doing right here. Just trying to keep the car in one piece for, you know, the rest of the race, rather. Not risk it right now at lap 55, where Colin Bowden and Ethan Burrell just going absolutely haywire up front for the lead.
Absolutely, this is great. We've got them 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through the field. What a difference from the first half of this race where it was single file all the way through to what was it, P25? I mean,
Yeah,
amazing how quickly things have changed, and amazing racing that we're seeing here. But Colin Bowden almost turned by Josh Adams there out of turn 2.
that about caused a big crash there. Stacked him up, and Johnny Thomas squirts through on the bottom. Adams now drops to the bottom behind Green, and it really stacked up the field. There's going to be multiple 3-wide instances heading into 3. Ryan Lutz on the top, Josh Clark and Josh Robin almost wad him up.
Josh Clark, your biggest loser right now, as he drops from right in contention out to P18 right now. As it stands, David Tooker beats his teammate to the chase, with Tooker sitting in the 11th position over Josh Clark in the 18th position. But man, oh man, this stuff is all changing so quickly. We'll keep you updated as the positions continue to change. Up front, it has single-filed out. It is now Burrell over Johnny Thomas over Jeff Green. Josh Adams has slotted into position in fourth spot, with that outside lane really starting to fade now. Colin Bowden down in the 11th.
David Tooker making up another spot there, and yeah, that battle between Tooker and Clark may come down to the last lap as to who wins this race. And if Ethan Burrell is able to win it, he's already locked into the chase, though we would finally get to interview Ethan. It's been well over a year since Ethan has won an Elite Cup Series race. He's won in the Elite Xfinity Series, finally took home a checkered flag at Erska last Monday. Now Elite Cup is the last one he really wants to get off of the Schneid.
Yeah, and it's obviously not his first race race win. It wouldn't be his first race win, but the first one in a while for that 37 car. It's been, I mean, he's been so utterly consistent. We've talked to him so many times when he's finished second or third, but never in victory lane, at least since David and I have taken over here in the Cup Series. Oh, an aggressive slide in front of Marcus Frucknick from Damian Leininger. Obviously a teammate there going to cut him a break, but man, oh man, they are close together on the bottom here.
Yeah, I was going to say, Clark gets sideways. That's a playoff contender, Josh Clark, and he saved it. He's on the apron now, but what a save by Josh Clark. We're going to have to watch that one again. He just saved a championship potentially berth. With that move right there, he's going to fall off. He's going to lose the draft, but should they crash out, Josh Clark will have every opportunity to get back into this race, and it was a bump from Ryan Lutz.
Was in fact a bump from Ryan Lutz there. You see them all checking up a little bit on the bottom. Lutz gets into the back of the 28. A couple of cars got a little bit squirrely there. Josh Adams, it was Josh Adams who really got the brunt of it, and there you go. Able to save it though on the apron, and he continues around right now though, just a little bit off of this second pack, it appears.
Tough break for Josh Clark, but up front, Josh Adams has taken the lead from Ethan Burrell. So now Josh Adams has evened up the gap between himself and Johnny Thomas that Thomas gained during green flag pit stops. Now both drivers have led a lap. Josh Robin likely will lead the most laps in this one. Don't see anybody leading 30-some-odd consecutive laps the rest of the way. It would require a Herculean effort by a Josh Adams or Ethan Burrell.
Yeah, but watch that top lane here, because look at the car that's leading it. That's David Tooker, number 19. He's gotten that top lane kind of working. He's got his teammate Matthew Weeks, your Daytona 500 winner, as well as Colin Bowden behind him. That's a lot of fast cars right there in line. Josh Robin as well, Hank Steinmiller, Jordan Owens, Harrison Talon, all of these guys all in line here, looking very, very strong. This is a stacked outside lane, trying to make that work, trying to get their way past some of these guys on the inside.
It's like Hank Steinmiller and Jordan Owens finally decided it was time to go. Dustin Dewar as well moved the 32 car into the top 10, having a great run down there. Mark Robilas has hung out in the top 10 most of the day as well. A couple of stellar runs by some of the guys who don't always get to run up near the front, but Dusty Dewar, Mark Robilas doing a fantastic job today.
Absolutely, a great job by both of those drivers. A lot of great. A lot of great cars right here inside the, what have we got here? Probably the top 16, I think we've got, is this top 18 is this kind of lead pack here with 19th on backwards, led by Tyler Dixon, that second pack. But we've got them 2 by 2 in this lead pack. Ooh, Matthew Weeks, though, maybe a little bit loose there in the corner as Jordan Owens dives to the bottom lane, and they're catching the lap car of Colin Fern.
It's helping this front pack with Josh Adams. And yeah, these guys are kind of calming down ever so slightly, maybe trying to get to the end of the race a little bit here. certainly not the same level of pushing that it was earlier, as now the field streams to the top side to go around Colin Fern. 86 car has really just had no luck today. It's involved in something around lap 5.
Yeah, Colin Fern just hanging on right now. He's already got that chase. He's already going chase racing. He has that win at Watkins Glen to allow him to race for a championship there. Obviously not the way you'd want to end the regular season, but no major harm there for that 86 car. They're 3 wide though. They were 3 wide. It might still be a little bit there with Matthew Weeks on the top lane as, Hank Steinmiller almost gets into the back of Josh Robin.
Yeah, Robin's having to run in the pack for the first time now, and you can see how that 8 car just doesn't seem to have the same snuff as it did when it was out front in the wind. A lot easier when no one's challenging you to lead laps than it is when you're constantly having to go 2 wide with people.
Without a doubt. Hank Steinmiller, who was hanging out back earlier on in this race, trying to make some moves right now, goes to the outside lane, though, but no help to join him, and he's going to fall back pretty hard here. Marcus Frucknicht and Colin Fern will come to his aid, but too little too late, I think, for Hank Steinmiller here. Close up front there with Damian Leininger and Jordan Owens. Owens trying to make that outside lane work. Damian Leininger almost gets up into that 16 car as Ethan Burrell, maybe looking for a spot at the lead, settles back in line.
I think that's what we're seeing a lot of. Guys just trying to see what they can do with these runs, and as soon as they step out and hit that wind and that side draft, it just slams a door on the car. Nowhere to go once you go up there, and you have to just tuck it back in line. We'll have to see if any more runs are able to be made. We had a really great 15 laps there after the restart, but things have really settled down now. Now to single file racing once again. Josh Adams with Ethan Burrell, Johnny Thomas, Jeff Green, and Kendall Noah Player the top 5.
Yeah, expect to see things heat up, though, within a few laps time for sure, as we are getting closer and closer to the end. I mean, certainly you could just look for the 24 car on the racetrack because there's always going to be action where he is. Look at this car, Colin Bowden, with the help of Damian Leininger. They've got a massive run forming here.
Yep, and that's what's going to take, though. It seems like as soon as you get up in there and start to challenge with that run that is a risky move by Colin Bowden, and I think he's pretty fortunate Tyler Fody didn't. Well, he did. Fody just runs over the back bumper of that 97 car. Did not appreciate that slide in line, and certainly justified by Tyler Fody. But as it stands, the message has been sent. Fody now got to work with that car because that car might take him to the front. He hasn't been there all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I mean, you want a guy who's going to make aggressive moves, work his way through the field. Colin Bowden's your guy right there, but also very easily, you can tell that 97 car right now, or 97-24, whatever you want to call him, he's out there for himself. You've seen him bring other cars up with him to other lanes and then just completely bailed out on them as he's made any kind of gain in position. So Colin Bowden, again, out there for himself. We expect to see that. He's not running for a championship. There's no second motive. He's out here simply to grab race wins, and you're seeing that in the way he's been driving this race.
4 Lake Norman Motorsports cars behind him, though, and I'm certain he's ruffled the feathers a little bit of Tyler Fody, so wouldn't be surprised to see Fody and Damian and Hank all try to step out and go around Colin Bowden if they can get a big run on him.
Yeah, we'll take a look and see what this Lake Norman group can do here. Right now, seem to be just kind of hanging back a little bit off of that 24 car, though. They're possibly building up a run here, and that's, I think, exactly what they're doing. Here we go, David. You called it. We got the 4 Lake Norman Motorsports cars in line on the top, trying to see if they can move forward at this racetrack.
Yeah, it's one of those guys. I know how those guys operate, and they tend to drive reactively a little bit, and if they can stack them up and try to go around somebody like Colin Bowden who did something like that, they're going to do it every time. Try to use Dusty Dewar, and that just did not work at all. It's going to take all 4 of them out.
Yeah, Tyler Fody gets way too hard. Jordan Owens!
Jordan Owens, nowhere to go. Got the brakes locked up on the Jordan Owens car, and that one's going to be done.
Yeah, that's day over for Jordan Owens. You can see the black smoke out of that. We're going to head over to the iRace Online replay. Looks like it was just it's an aggressive shove by Tyler Fody, by that Lake Norman crew. Possibly not happy with Dusty trying to block that run, trying to get up there and take some of that run there. And you see there, Tyler Fody just gets into the back of the 32. They go around Damian Leininger around. Hank Steinmiller gets some damage there. I think the only Lake Norman car that might have been free from damage there, Marcus Frucknicht. But then, of course, you saw there Jordan Owens, unfortunately, with all that damage. So just a big crash there. That might be our effective big one right there, and it all starts there with an aggressive push from Tyler Fode.
You can't speak too early now. A lot of race still to go.
A lot of race still to go, but traditionally we don't see ridiculous crashes. I hope I haven't jinxed anything here.
Oh boy. Oh boy. If you have to say that, we know exactly what's going to happen.
Oh boy.
Bit of a tough break there. I think Tyler Fode may be driving a little too emotionally there on that one, and just got excited. Colin Bowden ran him, blocked him. He ran into Colin Bowden. They were trying to go around him, focused on that, and just leaning on Dusty Dewar at the middle of the corner ends up spinning him out. So maybe, something to keep an eye on. Tyler Fode's not had the same level of season he had last year when he won that regular season title, and we're definitely going to see a new passing of the torch in that category.
Yeah, it really hasn't been as strong of a season, I think, for Tyler Fode we've seen, but I mean, obviously never count him out when it comes to these chase races. We've seen him pick up that game. We've seen that with other drivers as well, obviously. I mean, nobody really talked about Chad Frankenfield being an option, and here we go. We are seeing some difference in pit stops.
Well, I think a bunch of those guys got a bunch of damage. Naming in, Hank. Those are the guys coming down pit road here, but and maybe some of those guys who might not be good on fuel as well. Now I think is a good time to mention that C2 Freight is a premier partner for the Elite Racing Network. C2 Freight offers complete freight management services. They are ready to meet your needs today as well as your changing needs in the future. Thousands of qualified carriers in their database. They're capable of handling shipping for every type of goods, from perishable foods to office equipment. Whatever you need to ship, they have the access and the necessary equipment, including flatbeds, double drops, to vans, tankers, refrigerated equipment, multi-axle heavy haulers, dump trucks, auto carriers, and intermodal containers. They also offer electronic data interchange services, which allow shippers to keep close electronic tabs on their shipments throughout the freight movement process. For more information, please contact C2 Freight. They've done a lot for us, and they're currently running fourth on board Jeff Green. And we'll go on board here with maybe David Toker.
Yep, a request from David Toker here. Let's watch this replay as it comes up to watch what happened as that incident all takes place in front of him. We requested in the chat there to see him. There you see that ridiculous smoke. And
oh man, that is the kind of move that can get you into the playoffs and maybe give you a shot at the championship right there. If Tooker had clobbered into Tyler Fode as Jordan Owens did, that would have sealed up the battle, I think, and given it to Josh Clark.
Yeah, great move there by David Tooker. Keeps the nose of that car clean, and he's still in this race, P18 right now. So David Tooker very much still in the fight right now, especially with Josh Clark sitting down in P29. It looks right now like David Tooker will be the driver in the chase.
For now. There's a lot of race left, and Josh Clark can certainly make moves at Daytona. I've seen him make 10 to 15 spots in the last lap at certain tracks. So this ain't over till it's over for sure for Josh Clark, and he's only got to finish within 9 spots of David Tooker. So
yeah, it's gonna be very close. I think it's gonna be 10 spots of David Tooker, with Tooker grabbing those extra points, those extra points,
sure.
But. Yeah,
I think it's 8.
8 points. I can't do math.
Yeah, Tooker currently out. So Tooker, the one who needs the big run, and Clark just needs to keep Tooker within striking distance. Though this is all a moot point. Should someone who's outside the championship right now and in the top 25 win the race? I think right now the only one who's going to be able to do that would be Alec Balvans, running 12th of this top group. Maybe Michael Goodman. Not sure he is in points.
Kendall No Player also running in P5 would be one of those guys that we'd look at, though.
Potentially, he is close on points. It'll be close if Kendall can pull this win off. He is. Oh yeah, he's only 2 points. Yeah. He's only 2 points out of 5th or 25th. So if Kendall does win this race, he would definitely make it all the way into the playoffs. That'd be a big gain for Kendall.
It certainly would here, and yeah, to go to back-to-back playoffs with race wins at Daytona, that'd be an impressive feat for this 94 car. Well, we're going back to green flag racing. This time it's going to be Josh Adams leading the field to the green, and he does hit that loud pedal. He's going up through the revs, and Ethan Burrell trying to work that outside lane, trying to see if he can get by and take over the lead of this race, though. There really is no help on that outside for Ethan Burrell, and Johnny Thomas all over the rear bumper of Josh Adams means that this bottom line might just be the way to go right now on this restart.
Oh, 3 wide, Ryan Gavel got shoved out by Marco Bilas, and that's going to be tough for Ryan Gavel, one of our hopefuls to win the regular season title. He does slide in front of Brent Jones in the mid-teens there, but it's the pack flashes down the back straightaway, and Ethan Burrell trying to get that big run from Jeff Green.
Oh, we got a car blinking there. Marco Bilas and Ethan Burrell.
Green got into Ethan. That's the big. There's the big one. Told you it was coming. Balvan's involved. Nick Massey involved.
Oh my gosh.
More cars continue to crash. Michael Goodman is in it. Jared Rexing is in it.
We're gonna have a lot of replays here to go. Let's take a look and see just what happened. Ethan Burrell. It all begins with Ethan Burrell and Jeff Green.
Yeah, Jeff Green just shoving too much there into the corner and gets on the corner panel of him, and Jeff going to be taken out in it as well. That car went flipping and flying through the air.
There's your car flipping.
Yep, David Tooker did get a little bit of damage, it looks like. Josh Robin is in and out. Yeah. Tooker's car might be okay.
Yeah,
Ryan
Tooker
Lutz
actually, I'd love to get. I want to see this on board from David Tooker's car, because could we watch another ridiculous save from this number 19 here? I'm curious. Or yeah, this should be very interesting. So we're gonna go once again on board with this number 19 car, this onboard camera here. Let's see what David Tooker saw as this action all took place in front of him.
Car flipping over him, and I think he's gonna get some damage right there. Oh, maybe not.
I don't think he did.
David Tooker with some championship-saving performances in wreck avoidance tonight.
I mean, that's unbelievable. There's not a scratch on that number 19 car.
I really thought he blasted off of the Alec Bellman's car when it was spinning up.
That is unbelievable. We're going to take a look at some other replays there, but amazing dodging effort by David Tooker. What a fantastic job there. We're going to try and see who all was involved in this wreck as well. We're going to go back a little bit further in this pack. So
I think Brent Jones might have dodged. He's also very good at this.
Car flipping
he
was
came
Jeff
down and
Green.
jumped into somebody.
Let's take a look if we can just grab this freeze frame here in terms of everybody who's involved. There's some more happening up front. We've got Chuck Sweeting there, and you've got the 04 of Caleb Thompson. You've got the 5 of Alec Balvans, the 38, Jeff Green. You've got a couple cars on the grass there, though I think they avoided most of that. The 18 car of Joshua Personette. Wow, that is the big one. There you see some more cars there in front. You got the 10 car. Jared Rexing, the 93 of Mark Rabilas, the 1 of Ryan Gavel. Tons of cars involved in that one.
Dura, Michael Goodman. Wow. That changes the complexion of this race very drastically here. It's going to be difficult for the lanes to make runs now, in my opinion. We saw this happen in real-life Daytona, and they've been going for more real-life style racing, and so now you're going to get, well, if all the cars are crashed, we're only going to get single file racing with whoever gets the lead on the restart, the leader forever. So this restart kind of, in my opinion, becomes like absolutely key as to who wins this race with so few laps to go. I think it's just going to be whoever can get up to the lead. They're going to be able to hold serve.
Yes, sir. It's coming down to it. I mean, by the time we go back to green flag racing, we'll probably be looking at about 8 laps to go here in this race. So the intensity is going to pick up, but can anybody do anything about it? Yeah, that's going to be the big question mark that we don't know. It's a brand new package. We haven't seen these cars race at this track with this package before, though. I suppose this will be a great precursor to Talladega that's going to come up in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, Talladega might be a little easier to kind of flush out those runs. We'll have to see how that works out this weekend, I believe, in the real Cup cars before we get a chance to see it in our racing cars. But perhaps Talladega will be a little better than Daytona was. I mean, I remember the Daytona 500 was a pretty big snooze fest up until the last lap.
Yeah, it absolutely was. It, certainly was lacking something with this latest package. I think, man, if we could choose packages on iRacing, what an amazing thing that would be to be able to go back to what we had for that 500. that we just had earlier this season. I mean, man, oh man, what a race. Again, if you're watching here and you're curious as to what we're harking back to, take out 2.5, 3 hours of your day, go back and watch that Daytona 500 2021 JoinAPS Cup Series Daytona 500 here on the Elite Racing Network. What a race that was. We had a great crew up in the booth, but of course a ton of great action out on the racetrack. So please definitely take a look at that because that was a fantastic race. And we're hoping that we're going to be able to replicate it at more super speedways and more other racetracks in the future, or something like that product. Though tonight it's certainly been a different type of race that these guys have had to endure. But we're coming to 8 laps to go. We're going to head to the green flag, and it's going to be Josh Adams once again leading this restart with Johnny Thomas on the outside.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, whoever wins this restart wins this race. So we'll see if Johnny Thomas can get by Josh Adams. Green flag is out, and Colin Bowden is behind the 09 car, so one of the best pushers all day is going to have that run, but Johnny just slots it in the bottom. Johnny just wants to finish this thing up. If he finishes it second, so be it. Johnny wins that regular season championship.
Yes, he certainly does. So there you go. Johnny Thomas happy to push Josh Adams right now to the lead and maintain in front, but look at third place right now. Never count out this number 94 car at any of these racetracks. Kendall Noah Player in third position right now on that bottom lane. Could he come up to block that outside lane? Could he get that run late in this race? Never count out this car at these plate races, and Kendall Noah Player right now showing why that's the case.
Yep, Gerald Campbell now up into fourth. Remember, he was sideways on the apron early in this one. Matthew Weeks, the 500 winner up here, and here comes Kendall. Looking for it. Colin Bowden about turns David Tooker there. Got very close. But Matthew Weeks, the one now making the aggressive moves, and Tooker going to go with him, his teammate.
Yeah, so Tooker and Weeks now working on top of it. They're going to have some momentum to work, and if they can clear Gerald Campbell, that's going to be big. You see there, Weeks is able to, Tooker is not. It separates 2 cars on the bottom. Chevy's on the bottom, potentially Gerald Campbell if he wants to work with Kendall Noah Player there. Ooh, Colin Bowden right on the rear bumper of Rusty Capel, though the battle for the lead is intensifying as well as it intensifies further behind. But we've got 4 guys right now locked nose to tail down that back straightaway as the caution flag is out once again. We've got cars spun around in 3.
Josh Clark got very fortunate right here. I think he may have just gotten extremely lucky that he did not get caught up in this. That happened right behind the 28 car, who is one of our guys that's fighting, again, to get into the playoffs.
Let's take a look. We saw there Caleb Thompson with damage on that 04 car. He was around on the back straightaway. Let's take a look and see what happened here, as it looks like Tyler Dixon just came down as in a 3-wide situation. You see there Chad Thornquist involved, Dusty Dewar involved with a hard hit on that 32 car. That 04 as well of Caleb Thompson involved there. Looks like just a 3-wide situation gone wrong here at Daytona. And now lap 75 of 80, we're probably going to go back to green flag racing here with what, maybe 2 laps?
Probably green white checkered if I'm expecting anything. And a big disappointment there for Dustin Dewar. He had a really good run today, up into the 6th spot at one point. Disappointing for sure.
Absolutely, but that's sometimes how it falls here at Daytona at these super speedways. So really unfortunate. We've seen Dewar put in amazing performances at these racetracks before. So obviously he's not done yet. He's going to be around for the rest of this season, and looking forward to seeing some other good runs here from that 32 car.
Yep, I think Dusty's going to have plenty of opportunities to win the races like this. Just not his day tonight, and same for Caleb Thompson. He's usually good at these tracks, and he had made it through that wreck for the most part and was climbing through the field. Hate it for Tyler Dixon too. 54 car was up in 16th spot, but he's going to have to come down pit road and fix the damage on that machine.
Yes, he absolutely will. So again, another bit of a shake-up there in the field.
And so look at this as Isabella comes by. You know, he stayed in the race. He persevered after getting all that damage early on in that incident with Brody Moore. And 42 cars now back, I believe, on the lead lap.
I believe you are correct. Let's take a look. Vincent Isabella should be gaining that lap back. You are correct.
All right. Love that.
Yeah.
75 laps in, and that's what it takes. Vincent Isabella now gets back in the lead lap. Never say never, I guess.
Without a doubt, yeah. It's been it's been an impressive run. Just again, part of that thing is just keeping yourself on the racetrack, keeping yourself in this race. And well, a quick update on the chase picture as it stands right now. The way I'm seeing
Clark
it,
is still in.
Yep, Josh Clark in by 3 points over David Tooker. Obviously, still very much a ton to change here, as we still have quite a bit of racing to go here. These positions can change wildly and quickly, but as it stands, 3 points in the favor of Josh Clark, especially with Josh Adams winning this race. Again, a reminder, if Kendall Noah player is able to bring that car to victory lane, both Josh Clark and David Tooker will be knocked out of the chase.
Yeah, it's going to be a really big battle going forward, I think. And, Tooker and Clark are teammates. Those guys know the situation. Clark knows he has to finish, 9 points close to David Tooker, within David Tooker's result. So even if Clark can get up into the top 10 here, he can make it not matter at all for Tooker. But, I think the question then to me is whether or not that 94 car can go to victory lane. Maybe also we're underrating the chance for Rusty Capel as well. Though I don't know that Rusty's within the top 25 yet.
Yeah, I have to take a look. Rusty Capel currently sits 33rd in the points, so unfortunately might be a little bit too far out to make a move there. Though certainly it's been, that doesn't take away the impressive run that we've seen from that 9 car. He's been so quiet and under the radar this season, and in terms of, it's been interesting because we talk typically about guys who are running up front or guys who maybe run a little bit towards the back. Rusty Capel somehow always seems to avoid the cameras here in the elite racing leagues, and again, we get every now and then a chance to talk about him. A great driver, just super consistent with his results, and we're seeing that right here, currently running P6 at Daytona.
Yeah, and Scott Haney up in P12 as well. Hey, don't want to jinx anybody here, but hopefully those guys can bring home a nice strong result. They only got to make it 3 laps here, so.
I wouldn't bet on anything. So because they're going to be 3 laps to go and they hit the green flag, this will not count as our single green-white checkered attempt. So again, we have that 1 extra caution here available to these drivers. Hopefully we don't have to use it. But we could see a few more racing laps here to complete. For Johnny Thomas, who's got 36 laps completed, we'd expect he should be okay with these caution laps to make it to the end on fuel if we have a green-white checker finish. But that's certainly something to keep our eyes on, as he's got the oldest, he was the last guy, or has been out on the longest on this tank of fuel. But we're going to go back. With 3 laps to go, it's going to be Josh Adams leading the field on the bottom lane. There you see that 95 car peeks into the lead, and no real threat from Johnny Thomas as he's going to slot in line. Though that bottom lane, look out, Kendall Noah player David Tooker and Colin Bowden all in line. Look for them to be aggressive, but look for Matthew Weeks to make the move to block that run to the bottom lane, and they're all single-filed out.
Funny, because Josh Adams, Johnny Thomas, Matthew Weeks, this was like the group that ran for the Daytona 500, and now they're running here. Once again, it's like at plate tracks, it seems like things just never change, even when the cars that run, you have that opportunity for anybody to win, but it seems like those same guys always run well here.
It certainly does. These are the guys who are able to be smart about their races and keep their noses clean. There's a certain art to being good at these plate tracks. We certainly know there are certain drivers, even in real life, that excel at plate racing, and we're seeing that here in the elite racing leagues as well. 2 to go for Josh Adams.
Here comes Matthew Weeks. Got his teammate behind him. Now David Tooker found a way. Let's see if Weeks can push on by Josh Adams. He got around Johnny Thomas. Going to need a lot of speed, though. The leader has so much control. Kendall got into David Tooker.
David Tooker spinning around on the back straightaway there.
Gerald goes into the wall as well. Rexing into the wall. Caution's going to be out. We're going to get a green-white checkered finish. Oh, baby. Tooker's night. That might be it for David Tooker's chances of getting into the championship.
That might just be it. You are correct. We'll go back, though, and take a look and see exactly what happened there, and potentially just, again, another situation of a bump gone wrong with these drivers. We'll take a look here. Kendall Noah player, this might not be the best angle there. It might have even been some netcode there. Those guys are that close there on the racetrack. We'll see if we can grab the picture there as we'll take a look at the iRace Online replay again.
It's got to be frustrating for Tooker, but Kendall, I think, was maybe reacting to Colin Bowden in his mirror and moved up just ever so slightly.
Yep.
And in doing so, got into Tooker. I think we need to take a look at Harrison Talon's replay here. I think he goes flying by Tooker's spinning car sideways.
All right, let's take a look here. Let's see where this 23 car is and grab this onboard picture. So here we go, on board with Harrison Talon behind. There you'll see Colin Bowden stuck out to make that move. You see their Kendall No player going up. And there you go, Harrison Talon sideways off of turn 2, saves it and keeps it pointed in the right direction. Harrison Talon, 23 car, up to 6th position.
Yep, Harrison's going to have that same opportunity that everyone else is here on this restart. They're also going to give, I think, David Tooker back his positions because he never went around. That car stayed straight, so Tooker, they're going to let him go back actually now.
Yeah, it looks like it. I'm going to take a look at this 31 car, see how he got caught up, because he was right behind Josh Clark in the car that David Tooker was competing with, and we saw Gerald Campbell get kind of messed up here in this incident. So there you see Tooker going around.
He's the one who hits
Ooh.
into he's the one who hits into Tooker, and Ryan Gavel, or that's actually Jared Rexing, nowhere to go.
Yeah, unfortunate for those guys.
A couple of chase drivers, nowhere to go, and neither of them will be winning the regular season championship. It really is down to Johnny Thomas and Josh Adams. And if Johnny falls any further back from 4th, that would spell doom for his chances at winning that regular season title. He's got to stay up here near 4th spot. I think that's the safe zone. But if he falls to 5th or worse, Josh Adams might have enough points to get him. It is currently 6 points, the gap between them. Just don't know if Josh Adams has enough laps led to get that extra bonus point to make it 5.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't even know if Johnny Thomas has actually led a lap today. He's been in second pretty much. Has he? Okay.
Yes, yeah. He led during green flag pit stops.
Yep, you are correct.
I got to call out the comeback, though. Man, Chad Frankenfield crashed by himself on the back straightaway after green flag pit stops. I got pushed around by Z Shandura. Brought this 15 car back up to 9th spot. He's doing a great job hanging in there. And that's what this race is all about, is that endurance factor. You got to be able to make it to the end with a car that can run. Chad has just done a really good job. Another one who's right behind him actually is Chuck Sweeting. He was in that big one, and 75 car looks okay. Didn't look too bad.
Yeah, certainly.
He was also out of gas at one point.
Yeah, Kendall No player currently being shown in 10th position, but he was on and off pit road here, actually. So this 94 car, not quite sure if timing score not quite updated, or he might have gotten a penalty there.
Yeah, I think he may have gotten the EOL penalty for starting that wreck. Maybe there was some discussion as to whether or not he was the one at fault there. But nevertheless, he'll be at the back of the field, and the chance to win likely over for this 94 car.
Yeah, so unfortunate there for Kendall No player. Phil's going to take around the pace. The lights are off on the pace car, so this will be our final restart attempt. Whatever flag waves next will decide this race. So if we don't even make it to turn 1, that's how the race ends right there. So possibly expect to see guys maybe a little bit aggressive on this restart. Possibly, if you're Matthew Weeks, obviously you're going for it. Johnny Thomas might, calm down, and we expect to see that car going for it. So it could be interesting for sure here. This race is far from over. Hopefully we've got 2 more laps in it, but could be fewer than just a couple hundred meters down to turn 1.
Yep, could be over in a flash, could be the full 2 laps. The only ones who know are these drivers, and they're going to have to do everything in their power to win this race. Josh Adams, Johnny Thomas running for that regular season title. It's down to just them, as they have had good days and all their competition has had poor days. Whether or not Johnny Thomas finishes in that top 4 is what's going to determine it. If he doesn't, Josh Adams should claim that title of regular season championship. The win, I don't think, would matter unless Johnny falls back. And then it's Matthew Weeks looking for his 2nd Daytona win. Colin Bowden looking for his 1st win all season. And Harrison Talon looking for his 1st elite win.
Yeah, 1st elite win in the Cup Series. How about that? Harrison Talon been impressive here tonight. We saw that amazing save there, and currently running 3rd in line there on the inside row. So we'll see what that 22 car can pull off on this restart. Don't count out the likes of Ryan Lutz or Rusty Capel as well. Chad Frankenfield as a Daytona 500. We've got a lot of action, a lot of drivers who could come out victorious here, and we're going to go for one last time here at Daytona, back to green flag racing. And it's going to be Josh Adams leading that bottom lane, but look at Matthew Weeks, the restart he got. He's right alongside that 95 car. He just needs the help from the 09 behind him that he doesn't quite have, as Josh Adams has that huge bump from Colin Bowden second in line on that bottom lane, and Bowden might peek up in front here as he's clear of the top lane.
Yep, Bowden trying to get that two-car tango working, maybe to try to jump out and side draft late. Bowden right in behind Josh Adams. They've separated themselves from this front group. Where's the momentum, and can Johnny Thomas rebound? He's currently in the danger spot of losing out on the regular season championship.
Oh,
he got into Ryan Lutz there. Ooh, and Clark gets into Thomas. Thomas crashes it, and that'll be the regular season title for Josh Adams with the win at Daytona.
Man, oh man, and that's how it's going to end. There you see Johnny Thomas.
Oh, and into Colin Fern for good measure.
Oh.
Tyler Fode upside down. Just chaos at the end of this race. Did Josh Clark involved in this wreck, did that knock Clark out of the playoffs?
We're going to have to wait for all of these drivers to cross the line here before we're able to get an idea, as they're all still looping around here, and this will all get reset. So Johnny Thomas comes across the line, P25. Josh Clark, P24, with David Tooker. David Tooker in 7th. So David Tooker will make that move to take over that final chase spot over teammate Josh Clark, and then the regular season champion is Josh Adams in the number 95 car. How about that?
What a crazy finish. Chad Frankenfield rallies to finish 6th. Oh my, wow.
Yeah, Colin Bowden P2 there. Matthew Weeks holds on for third position.
What about Brent Jones? Finishes in 9th.
Yeah,
he bounced off of someone in the big wreck. Mark Urbilas finishes 10th. Scott Haney 11th. What a good finish there for some of these guys. And it's all about Josh Adams, but it's good to get some of these guys a really good run tonight.
Yeah. So here we go. It's going to be behind the pace car, but Josh Adams, your leader, is going to cross the finish line under caution to grab the win at the SMRI Productions 200 and grab the regular season championship. What a drive by this 95 car. Tons of chase points he's going to gather, and I mean, what a serious threat he's going to be for this chase championship. Exceptional driving this season, and grabbing that first win this season, as crazy as it is to say.
Yep, first of the kind of all the guys who accumulated a ton of points this year, he's the first one to actually gather a win, and he does it at the most crucial time, winning at Daytona and picking up that last checkered flag to get those points in that stage, or the regular season title. Colin Bowden does finish 2nd, Matthew Weeks 3rd. Those are the guys we're going to hear from. In fact, we'll probably just hear from Weeks and Adams, if I had to guess. Then Harrison Talon with an awesome 4th place run. Ryan Lutz finishes in 5th after, I think, kind of being the recipient of the big wreck at the end. We're going to have to go take a look at that one. And then it's Chad Frankenfield, David Tooker with the huge run to finish 7th and dodge that wreck. We're going to have to go on his onboard as well, see what he saw. Chuck Sweeting 8th, Brent Jones 9th, Mark Urbilas finishes in 10th.
Here's the rest of your top 20. Some other shout-outs there. Scott Haney, Chad Thernquist in the top 12 there. Nick Massey as well in his, I believe, first or second Cup Series start, grabbing P17 here at Daytona. Vincent Isabella recovering to P18. Josh Person at P19. Gerald Campbell rounding out that top 20.
And some of these guys who got caught up in that last wreck: Josh Clark, Colin Fern, Kendall Noah Player, Johnny Thomas. All guys who had good runs tonight, and all guys who are going to go home disappointed with their results, I think.
Without a doubt, but it's celebrations here for the number 95 car. Josh Clark can enjoy the victory here on the high banks at Daytona. We know how good he is at this racetrack, and he proved it once again here today. Not just that straight up speed, but that ability to last the course of the 80 laps. But let's go take a look at that iRace Online replay for that final lap wreck.
Yeah, we're going to have to. It was a pretty wild wreck. I think Johnny Thomas got into Ryan Lutz was what started it, and Johnny kind of ended up getting out of it again and washing up a little bit, and in doing so got himself run into from behind, I think maybe by Josh Clark.
Yeah, we'll see what we can spot here as we're just trying to locate this replay.
While we're there, I could jump and grab Matthew Weeks for the interview, or we could wait on it.
Let's grab a couple of these. Let's grab a couple of these replays here and see exactly what happened here with Ryan Lutz and Johnny Thomas before we grab our guys into the booth here. So here we go. Johnny Thomas coming down there, grabs Ryan Lutz.
Yep, and it gets into the front. Look at that. The two guys who did not need a crash out together. And it sends Johnny Thomas and Josh Clark, Johnny home without a regular season title, Clark home without a playoff berth.
Yeah, so here we go. Once again, we'll watch this 09 car. He gets that huge fishtail. All of those cars involved in that wreck. Ridiculous accident there for Johnny Thomas.
Tyler Fody involved, another one who just had a bummer of a day. Scott Haney was involved in it, though he did make it through long enough to get there, and then we had guys full throttling it, trying to pick up spots at the end.
That's how it happens at Daytona sometimes. Let's go talk to our third place finisher. Our third place finisher, Matthew Weeks. Matthew Weeks, man, winner at Daytona 500, third place here at the late season Daytona race. What is it about you and these large racetracks that just clicks, my man?
I don't know. I always consider myself a really good plate racer. I mean, like I was telling David a couple of days ago, 2 Daytona 500 before I won, I wasn't in the top 5 towards the end until I got caught up in a wreck. So I always have a chance at winning these races, I think.
Yeah, Matthew. I mean, we know you're really good at running these plate tracks, and you're aggressive, and I think that's kind of the thing that plays into it. But could you just take us through the difference in the package? We saw what it was, but it just seemed like guys were doing a lot more of that side drafting that's been introduced, and it almost seemed like that wasn't stable enough, and it was really turning some of these guys around.
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard to get on someone's back bumper. They really had to let off to let you get on the push. So you just had to do that side draft. And if you've done it right, you can get a really good run, and it really would help. I prefer the old package. This one is just too different. It just makes the racing too bland, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. did not like the first half of that race where we were watching.
Yeah, it took me 30 minutes to finally learn, 30 laps to finally figure out what I have to do to get towards the front.
Yeah, Matthew, I mean, still an incredible drive there, and obviously we knew you were going chase racing from the start, but to finish off the season on such a high, the regular season on such a high, what momentum does this help you carry into this first round of the chase that we've got coming up?
A lot. It really does. I think this season has been the biggest confidence boost I ever had league racing because I've been so competitive, I think, everywhere. I'm just ready to get this chase started. I'm ready to go win a championship, I think. I think it's time.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think you can do it, Matthew. Any shout outs you wanna give here before we let you go?
Shout out to SMR. Jordan's sponsoring me, man. The dude's awesome. Pro Edge guys, dude. Probably some of the best friends I have. You guys up in the booth. Y'all are amazing up here. I love it. Everyone that watches, thanks for watching. Chad, appreciate what you do, man. Fun league, man.
All right, man. All right. Well, congratulations once again on the third place finish there, Matthew. And looking forward to seeing you going for a championship here over the course of the next 7 weeks.
Thank you, man. Y'all have a good night.
All right, you too. There you go. Third place finisher, Matthew Weeks. And I believe we have a quick announcement before we bring in our race winner, Josh Adams.
I think you should go back and find it on replay while we talk to Josh, and then we'll break the news.
All right, we'll take a look. Let's bring in our race winner, Josh Adams, race winner and regular season champion. I'm pretty sure we can confirm that there with Johnny Thomas falling back in that last incident.
Yeah, I think so. I think the last thing you guys asked me last week was how we were going to approach this race, and I said I was coming here to win.
Worked out for you, huh? And did you kind of know that the leader just had all the momentum there from that first run, or did you just want to acquire the lead? What was your kind of strategy in the mid part of that race when you were, I think, 5th or 6th, kind of just trying to work your way back to the front?
Yeah, I think we've all come to learn that the leader is at a major advantage unless a couple of guys can get the outside moving. And when I restarted back there in 8th or whatever, me and Ethan were up there, and he pulled me straight up there, and then I knew I could do it, so I pulled up in front of Tooker one time and finished that off. But I wanted to maintain the bottom on the restarts and just take off and make sure that I got through the gears, and it worked out.
Yeah, Josh, obviously, regular season champion. It was kind of funny this whole season how that regular season championship worked out as kind of the top 6, I think, in points. None of you guys had kind of grabbed that win, really broken through. You guys have been so consistent. Obviously, this must feel like a breakthrough win, and it comes at just that perfect timing where we're heading into the chase. We know you're going to be strong at Talladega, another plate track. We know you're going to be strong at all of these other racetracks. How does this build that momentum towards possibly getting into that championship 4, possibly getting a championship out of this season?
I think it's huge. Consistency, one, is key because that got us here. And, nobody now can say that, got here just on consistency and we can't win. I know it's Daytona, but we won it. Nobody can take that away. But I think the next race, Mid-Ohio, those playoff points that I just acquired are a big deal for me going into a road course.
Yeah, Josh, and if you can get through, and let's say you make it through Talladega, and you get all the way to that final round where you're looking at, if I can pull up the schedule, where you're looking at New Hampshire, Homestead, and Atlanta. Do you think you're going to have a good run getting through that round as well?
I would hope so. There's some people in this league that won't like it, but I think they should get rid of New Hampshire. But Homestead and Atlanta, I'd look forward to both of those places if I'm still in it.
All right, man. Well, we're going to give you a chance to shout out anybody here on the air before we let you go and celebrate this one.
My big shout out for this race, I think, would be Ethan Burrell. He pulled me to the front, and if he wouldn't have pulled me to the front, I probably wouldn't have thought I was going to be able to do it. So when I was able to go up in front of David, that was the move that did it. So I've got to shout him out, and then my team, Ruthless. I think we only had a couple of guys, 2 or 3 guys in here, but we've all been running pretty decent. So hopefully we can go and put some more good runs together.
All right, man. Well, race winner here at the SMRI Productions 200 and regular season champion Josh Adams. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
All right, that was your race winner, Josh Adams. And, when the race ended, we announced that with Josh Clark in the wall, we believed it would be David Tooker to make it into the chase. However, we've just heard a verdict about a penalty post-race on the number 19 car, and it starts right here with this still frame and the gap between David Tooker and Chad Frankenfield. Talk us through what this penalty is here, David, and why this was awarded to this 19 car, and why he's now been sent to the end of the lead lap, which obviously places him well behind that 28 car.
Because I don't know that he gained any advantage by laying back, but he did lay back. So, that's the clear cut and dry aspect of it that they're going for, is that he laid back and moved forward on the restart, left the gap, hit the gas, but I don't know that he gave him any advantage or anything. It's just a product of the rules, and that's what it is. So.
All right. Well, with that being said, though, we will finish off this regular season, and I mean, with a pretty crazy result, a pretty crazy race. I mean, talk me through your thoughts and any final thoughts here from Daytona here as we finish off this regular season.
I hope iRacing makes a little bit of an adjustment after this Talladega race on Sunday to the plate racing package, and maybe gets us looking back a little more like we were before. It's just a frustrating thing that we kind of lose that greatness that we had earlier in the season with that old package. Those guys were able to swap the lead a lot more, and this race was a track position race once again, and it's just it's tough. But I think these guys did a good job, put on a good race for what it was worth, and we got some major drama there at the end, and congrats to Josh Adams.
Absolutely. A massive congratulations to Josh Adams, your race winner here at the SMRI Productions 200 and your regular season champion. We'll bring you, make sure you guys are following at Elite Racing _ for the official chase grid when that is released. We currently don't have that information exclusively with us as other, I'm sure other post-race issues will be looked at. So that will give you the official results there. And join us next week as we talk about our pre-chase picks. David and I make ourselves look foolish on air for the second season in a row as we pick all the wrong drivers to make it to the Final Four.
We didn't pick them all wrong.
We got a couple wrong.
We just did not pick Chad either round, and he went and won the championship. So, we'll have to see if we can't get a little better this time. But knowing our jinx, we should just make the entire final list like guys who aren't in the playoffs, and then we'll actually have some good playoff races.
Yeah, we'll see, but yeah, no race next week, but absolutely tune in for that show. It's going to be a ton of fun. We had a ton of fun with the drivers last year, and we're planning on doing that again this year. So stick around and tune in for that on Wednesday night. The Xfinity Series has finished up on Monday. I believe the Truck Series will finish up this Sunday here at Nashville, and then we'll have all of these going at Chase Racing, and of course. On the IndyCar side of things, the month of May is already underway, so stay tuned to at Elite Racing _ on Twitter for all of the updates there with races that will be going on all throughout this next month leading up to the 7th running of the Elite Indy 500. I'll be up in the booth for that. That should be a fun race to call.
And I'll be trying to make it, so we'll see how that goes, but I'm excited for it, and so definitely tune in to all our month of May stuff, and Elite Racing Network. Subscribe, guys.
Alrighty, with that, I've been Rishav Khosla with David Westergreen. It's been a fantastic regular season for the JoinAPS Cup Series in the 2021 A Elite Racing League. We're going to go chase racing in 2 weeks' time, so make sure you guys are subscribed to the Elite Racing Network, your home for all your Elite Racing League's races. With that, have a good night.